All right, in today's video, we're gonna set up a Jackson Pro Dinky. And I'm gonna run through that. I'm probably gonna block the trem so it only goes down. And I might mess with it floating on another occasion. But I've had 4 of these. This will be the 5th Jackson I've had. And I like them so they only go down like Eddie Van Halen had on his guitars. Here it is on the bench right here. So we're gonna set this baby up and make it wunderbar. Let's go. So the first thing I'm gonna do on this Jackson Pro is lower the action over here. And I prefer to like file the bottom of the nut to lower it, but it's really hard metal and that could take forever. I might try doing that with a file, and if it looks like it's cutting a bit, I do, because I don't really want to sand the wood down. I don't care about this nut. You can get those, they're easy to come by. So I might try doing that. Here we go. I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna get a flat surface under here and just go over this a bit with this rough sandpaper. If it doesn't work, it's just the bottom of this, but I know this steel is really hard. So here we go. That's about a minute. So I'm gonna give this a little bit of time. I'm gonna take this thing down a little bit, and much rather sand this thing down than take the wood off the neck. So I'm going to work this. So now I've got that sandpaper, and it just fits in there like a glove. This seems to be the smartest way to do it because it's really tight. I'm just going to work it back and forth. What a success. It didn't even take long. Here's I think this is the second one. And then I only needed to use 2. I made a 3rd one. I didn't even need it. Wow. All you need is sandpaper that fits perfectly in that slot, and just use your nut and just go back and forth. Just be careful not to go like that. Keep it nice and flat. This is a total success. Okay, what I'm going to do to this guitar next is I can feel the frets, a little bit of fret sprout. It's completely consistent all the way, so that makes me believe that the wood has shrunk a little bit, and I'm thinking they didn't leave that much on it's like totally consistent. So I got to get rid of that, and then I'm going to dress the frets. I'm going to take the neck off for this. I got the nut, which has already been addressed. I got that off. So here we go. Okay, as usual, I made the neck straight with my straight edge, and you can see all these little lines. That means the fret's a little high there. So basically what I do is, let's see if I can show you what's happening here. See that rocking? A little lower here. So basically I'm just going to take some sandpaper and I'm just going to physically sand them down, then keep checking it. So then once I get all the frets level where there's none high, then I'll dress them all. So here we go. Okay, I took care of all the high spots, and sometimes I use a radius block. This is a 12-inch radius, but down here it's like a 16. And a lot of times I'll use this. It's an old cassette case, because I can go like this and it accepts it turns into whatever radius I need. And these work pretty good with sandpaper. So I'm going to hit this with this 400, and I'm going to move upward from 400. Here we go. 600. And if you watch my videos, you know that I go up pretty high with the sandpaper. I want these things polished before I even polish them. This works good. It always has worked good. I know it's not what probably a lot of people would like to use, but I don't care. And then sand the edges. I'm kind of looking for, usually it turns out being like the roof of a school bus. I don't like pointed frets, they just get divots in them right away. I like school bus roof frets. So I'm going to continue on here. And here I'm going to roll over the edges of the frets. Kind of hard with one hand. Just see how that's round. Do the edges. Before I take the tape off after polishing, clean the frets really good. You don't want any of that crap getting in your wood. All right, they're all polished up. We're gonna treat this board like we always do. Don't get none on the old frets. What kind of wood is this? I'm not familiar with this wood. Seems pretty thirsty, whatever it is. Wow. Okay, moving along. Here we go. All right, I got the lemon oil done, and I might reattach this neck to its body tomorrow. So, with the magic of editing, I will see you tomorrow. Peace out. All right, I put some new strings on it, and this is still loose. Stretch the strings out real good. And this is not a tutorial on how to set up a Floyd Rose, okay? So, but basically this takes some time getting, you can see, it's right about in the midpoint. It's not too far up, it's not down, it's right in the midpoint, and I'm probably gonna block off the trim and show you what I'm talking about. All right, I'm probably gonna put something in here like this. So it'll go down, but it won't go up. Okay, here's an example. I'm probably not gonna use this, but I could. See, you mount something like that in. I usually put a little piece of wood in, and then the tremolo will only go down, and it makes life with the Floyd Rose so easy. Once you have it equalized, and you put in your little block or whatever you put in to make it only go down, life with the Floyd Rose is easy. It's really easy. If you break a string, you can finish your song because the others won't go out of tune. But really, when does a string break? That doesn't happen. So yeah, that's what I'm probably going to do. I don't have the arm for it. I ordered one. It should be here next Wednesday. So I still haven't done the intonation yet. So I pretty much got the nut is looking pretty good. The E is a little bit high, but on these Floyd Rose nuts, you only can do so much. So the action is good. I've got the truss rod where I want it. The frets are all beautiful now. I like this. This is the first guitar I've had where the truss rod adjustment's there. I use a little drill bit. Everything's pretty close. everything's pretty nice. I've got this equalized. You can see the body and the Floyd Rose are pretty much equal. You know, they're at the same level. So I'll have to set the intonation, and that's not that hard on a, well, it's a pain in the butt really, but it's not really super difficult. You got one hole here and you got one hole there. So if the saddle has to come forward a lot, then you take this bolt out and you put it in there, and it slides it up like the E string. You can see the E string, that's the case with it. So getting it set up it's a bit of a pain, but once it's set up and I got that block in there, then, I mean, this is the 5th Jackson I've had, and I've had all of them with a block in them, because I don't need it floating. I've got my Doheny for that. This I'll just make go down, and the Doheny will be the floating bridge, and I guess that will be too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing this. I'm going to let it sit from this point, and I stretched the strings really good. The nut is still loose. I haven't finished everything. I want to get the intonation set. It's a little bit out. I think that there were tens on this baby. Now I have 9 to 42. That's the gauge that this comes with. So we're getting close. This is what I'm going to use for my wood block. I'm going to cut it down a little bit, and it's nice and thin. It's plywood, and I'm going to put that in there. And do you know where this came from? Take a good look. See, it's a little bit of an arch to it. It looks awfully familiar to this guitar, doesn't it? Yeah, this is from this guitar. I believe it's from the bridge. And it's plywood, so it's just strong. That'll work. This will work perfect. So there'll be a little bit of Carlos will go into the little bit of Carlos will go into the Jackson. I'll just cut that down on my chop saw, make it nice and square. And when you do this, if you do this, make sure you're not drilling into your pickup. Now before I put my little block in, I just want to make sure that the trem is flat. And look how nice and flat that is. It's perfect. So here we go. Okay, here's what it looks like, and it always comes back. I like using wood because you don't want to hear metal on metal. This makes life with the Floyd Rose super easy. It just takes away all, like, if you're going to have a floating Floyd Rose, you have to have a tech, or you have to learn how to do it, because it's not the easiest thing. But once it's all balanced, it's just a wonderful tremolo. But I already have a guitar that is floating that I love, and I think I'm going to appreciate this one more, like the other 4 that I've had. This is the 5th Jackson I've had, and I like them blocked. I like them only going down. I figure if that's good enough for Eddie Van Halen, it's good enough for me. Funny side note, I went to see Van Halen in '78 when their first album was out, and I didn't even know who they were. And then when they were playing, I heard a couple songs, and I'm like, I've heard those on the radio. Could you imagine that? Van Halen didn't know who they were. As Nacho said, it sucks to be me right now, because every string, the intonation is off. So I'm going to have to do the dirty work on every string, but I got the tremolo blocked up. It'll make this whole process a lot easier. So to intonate a Floyd, if it's flat and the saddle's got to go that way, you got to loosen that right here, loosen this Allen and slide the block forward a little bit. And if it's sharp when you hit the 12th fret, you got to go that way. So that's why there's 2 sets of holes. So hopefully I don't have to, like you can see this last one here, it's in the 2nd hole. But I got the feeling I'll have to do that. And the best way to do this is to loosen the string tension, then undo this and slide it a little bit tighten it up, tune up the guitar again, and try again. It's just going to take a while because all 6 are out. Here we go. Wow. Intonating a Floyd, I forgot how long it takes. It takes a long time. And like I said in the clip before this, I was hoping I didn't have to go into the other holes. Well, I did. All except for one. I think I'm not sure if the E was already in the second hole, but most of them weren't. So I had to, move them. Like this one's in the right hole, and then there's the left hole. All these had to go to the left hole. So that was a pain. It probably took 40 minutes to set the intonation on this. That's why guys who, set up Floyds get paid the big bucks. It's time consuming. That's why I put that block in, because I don't need it floating. I just want it to go down. And once you put that little trem stop in there, however you do it, it makes life with the Floyd so much easier. Okay, and here's where our action is set. Neck is set pretty straight. And unfortunately, there's not that much adjustment. Well, there's pretty much no adjustment with, a Floyd locking nut. I wish the E string could go down a bit, but that's the way it is. So I did play this guitar last night while I was waiting for the tremolo to settle. You see how it's nice, and I have it nice and flat, even. And it sounded better than it had a right to. I thought it sounded great. So I'm looking forward to playing this guitar. I've got a bar coming, I think on Wednesday. I hate that when you get a Floyd guitar or a Strat or anything and it doesn't have the bar. And then you got to mess around with that. But anyway, this thing plays fantastic now. It sounds great. And I'm looking forward to playing it. Anyway, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you learned something, or if you just thought it was cool, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, and absolutely comment if you want to talk about Jacksons or Floyds. You could probably school me on something. So that's the video. Peace out and have a great day, everybody.